Hey, eighth graders. So real quickly, what we're doing today is we're writing our first DBQ for social studies. I just quickly want to go through the directions in the prompt to make sure that we're all set and ready to write this. The directions say, write a well-organized, clear, multi-paragraph response using information from documents 1 through 4 and your knowledge of social studies. So it says multi-paragraph. Yes, this is going to be a 4-paragraph essay. In 8th grade social studies, every DBQ, every response needs to be 4 paragraphs. I'll share with you the rubric and how to get that score because it's a max of 4 points, and I'll show you how to get a score of 4 points. The prompt. This looks a little different on here. I just want to make sure that you make this change on your prompt as well. Your prompt should say, discuss how environmental issues are affecting Louisiana and the United States. Please add this in here. It's not just Louisiana, but it's Louisiana and the United States as a whole. Okay, so in your prompt, you need to discuss both of those things. You're going to support your ideas with reasoning, and you need to use evidence from each of the documents and prior knowledge of social studies. In addition to this DBQ, you have a rubric packet, so go ahead and pull out your rubric packet, and I want to talk to you quick about how to get different scores. So the highest score you can get is a score of 4. A 4 would be 100%. A 3 out of 4 is 75%. That's a pretty big drop, right? It's a big difference between an A and a C. A score of 2 is 50%. And a score of 1 is 25%. So only scores 3 and 4 are the only passing scores. So those are the only scores we're going to focus on. Don't look at score 1 and 2. I don't want you getting a score of 1 or 2. So let's look how to get a 3 or 4. Let's start with 3. There's 3 different categories to kind of get these scores. The first is documents. You can get a score of 3 if you use 3 or fewer documents supporting your argument. So if you only use 3 of the documents instead of all 4, you automatically get the score of 3 right here. For the prompt, a score of 3 would be the student responds to most of the prompt, but is missing a small piece. So our prompt has 2 parts to it, or 3 parts actually. Environment, what's the effect on Louisiana? What's the effect on the United States? So a score of 3 would be a student responding to just the effect of Louisiana or just the effect to the United States, but not including both in their response. So when you write this today, you need to include how it affects Louisiana and the U.S. Under evidence, you'll get a score of 3 if you use evidence from 3 or 4 documents, but you only explain your evidence in 1 or 2. So we're not just saying it negatively affects the environment. Here's a quote from document 2. Once you give me the quote from document 2, tell me why that affects the environment. How do you know? How do you know it affects Louisiana? How do you know it affects the United States? You need to explain, I know this because, just like we do in math. And then score of 4 is ultimately what we want. To get a score of 4, you must use all 4 documents to support your argument. You must fully respond to all aspects of the prompt and draw prior social studies knowledge into your argument, right? You have social studies skills from 6th and 7th grade. Build on those skills, grab those skills when you're writing and responding to this prompt. And finally, to get a score of 4 for evidence, you must give evidence from all 4 documents, and you must explain the evidence in all 4 documents. You will see, and I'm going to go back to the DBQ. So what we're doing is 2 stages today. If you go all the way to the page of your DBQ that says planning. So on the planning, and hopefully yours looks like this. I put the prompt on it again. Discuss how environmental issues are affecting Louisiana and the United States. And then you have your intro. And so in your intro, you need a short introduction. Paragraph 1, we have it built out with rage, restate, answer, give evidence, explain evidence. There's 2 different points to use documents. So you want to find which documents go together. If documents 1 and 2 go together, argue about them in the same paragraph. If documents 1 and 4 go together, do that. If you can write 2-paragraph essays that include all 4 documents in each paragraph, that's also fine. You do need to plan out your response and what you're going to do in paragraphs. It doesn't need to be complete sentences, just bullet points of your ideas. And then you'll do your final draft. It does need to be 4 paragraphs. If it's not 4 paragraphs, you can't get a score of 4. If it's not 4 paragraphs, you really can't get a score of 3 either. So really do your best. We'll be talking about these, discussing them. I'll come around and circulate. But you can start working on your DBQ now. Good luck.